what's going on? Welcome back to another episode of Sipping with Sakari. And on this episode, we are joined with the amazing Maha, who's going to give us some PR tips and tricks, the whole entire playbook. She's also the PR agent for Gary Vaynerchuk, and I'm just super excited to share this knowledge that she shared with me, with all of you. So stay tuned. Let's cue the music. Love. What is the best way to tell my story? I find like an emerging PR person that like just maybe needs the work. Do I do it for free for myself and just until more things happen? Like just trying to create a PR strategy. That's the question.
Okay, the good news about PR, it doesn't cost you anything. And anyone can do it. It's free. Marketing costs money because you have to buy ads, you have to create content, you have to do all that stuff. But PR is super free. So here's the playbook of what you guys need to do if you want to do PR for yourself. So first things first is you need to develop your own little bit of a press kit. So a little bio about who you are. Get some pictures with, these are assets, any pictures about you, about your project, like high resolution professional photos that you would like to see in a story. You prepare those as well. And then you should do some sort of write-up, like a FAQ or a fact sheet about you. So like, think of all the questions that people want, like, how did you start your business? Where do you serve? What are some of the things that you offer? Like, we think of all the questions that someone might come up with and like, what's the standard answer? So you have a professional answer for every question. So the first things first is create what you want your professional press kit that you're going to send out to people. You'll want to put together a couple of like a one pager of like bullet points, like, about just some of the bullet points you just told me about your business, how you started, Hell's Kitchen, you're on the show, what you've contributed to society. Why are you newsworthy? What is it about your story that you think is interesting that you want people to know? So put all of that information together and package it. So package it means that you do the work, you collect the images, you get the basic information all packaged up and written. You put it all together so that you make it easy and you package and you give it to them as if it's a gift. Like, here's something that I put together so you don't have to go do your own research and look for a photo and look up my bio. Like, you package it for them. So that's the first thing. Mm-hmm. The second thing is make a wish list. Here are all the media that I want to appear in. I want to be in this magazine or this blog or this newspaper. So make a media list. Make a list of all the key media outlets that you want to get coverage in. Like, oh, I really have a vision that I should be like on the Today Show, or I want to be in The Verge, or I want to be in this cooking magazine, or whatever it is. So make a list of what those media that you really want to be in. Targets. Then you have to start following these media outlets and seeing, okay, so this writer writes about crypto. Like, let's say, for example, I'm going to take Forbes, just off the top of my head. Forbes has a finance section, a tech section, a crypto section, a Web3 section, a culture section, a section about cooking, about finance. There's different topics. You need to go and start studying that media outlet and who is the writer for that beat. So the writer who writes about the books is not the same writer that writes around crypto. So you need to figure out who are the writers that write about what. And the easiest way to find that is just start reading the blog or reading the newspaper or reading whatever it is online. So if I go to Forbes.com, I can see who's writing about what stories. I check the headline. I look at the byline and see the byline is just the name of the person who wrote the article. Now I know who's the writer for the food section of Forbes. Okay, so then I find out his name is Daniel Curtis, whatever. I take his name, and then I start to follow him on Twitter. So now I can start to see, I have to read and I have to listen. The first part of getting good publicity is listening to what they're writing about. What kind of stories are they writing about? What do the headlines look like? What kind of images are they using? Really start to get a feel for how they're writing this, like what's getting coverage is basically what you're trying to figure out. And then you go for the ask. So let's say it's going to be Southwest fashion or food week and you want to get a story about how you're merging NFTs with food. And you know that people care about food because it's timely, because that week is a big food event going on. So you really want to write a story when it's the most important or the best timing. Then you got to put together a pitch, write an email. Most journalists have their emails in their Twitter bios or on the website of where they write for because they want to get stories. That doesn't necessarily mean they're going to take your story, but they'd like to get people to pitch them information stories so that they can see what's a good story that might be interesting for them to they get leads. It's basically a lead. So if you have an interesting story, they might bite on it. So now you put together the press kit. Now you've built your media list. Who are the targets? Then you start following those media so you can see what do they write about? What are they interested in? What's actually getting coverage? And then you have to draft your pitch. Let's talk about what goes in your pitch. Your pitch, the subject of your headline of your pitch of your email is really important. So you want to say something that's going to hook them, or you want to say something that's going to get them interested in opening your email that is not spam. So for Gary, obviously not everybody knows who Gary is, and not everybody is a big fan of Gary. Don't assume that every time I'm pitching to a journalist that they're like, oh, Gary V, let's write a story. They always, if they know him, they want to get something from him that I not necessarily want to talk about because I'm pitching a story that I want to land. Or they want to talk to him, but they want to talk about something else. And then I really try to balance between meeting their needs of what they want to know and what I want them to know, what they need to know. So it's kind of that balance, but the pitch is really important to getting their attention. So subject matter has to be something related to cooking, NFT, something, whatever the topic would be in the headline. Then you get to the pitch. Dear editor, always address them by their name. Dear Jeff, I really want to tell you about something. And then you go into very brief. Why is this something that they should read? What's your story? Put 2 or 3 bullets and then attach all your information so that they can dig more. So the news hook that you have to put in the body of the email has to get their attention so that they're interested in delving deeper into the information that you shared with them. That's basically, in a nutshell, a really good way for you to start to get publicity for your business. And you can do the same tactics on Instagram, is start following them on Instagram. Often I would DM on Instagram as well. Like, I have a story, I'd love to email you. If you can just give me your email, don't do the pitch over Instagram, over DM, but just you really have to just knock on doors and they will get back to you. If they're interested, they'll get back to you. And if they're not interested, they'll also get back to you. But that's a really good way to get publicity, is to start with doing your research, listening, and then pitching. Another way to get PR into your story is by trying to collaborate with somebody or getting a news hook at a big event. So let's say you want to get a lot of media go to events. So going to an event is like a triple whammy. So 1, if you get to speak at an event, that's a good thing because you'll get on stage. 2, everyone will have their phones and posting on social media so that they can tell everybody that they were there. And 3, events are usually crawling with press, and press want to talk to attendees. Press want to talk to speakers. So if you can't get media publicity by pitching to a media journalist directly, go to an event. You will definitely find the media there. And there usually is a media center. There's usually a media list of people that are attending. So it's a really good way for you to meet multiple journalists at an event. So for example, if you're going to go to Art Basel, I know that there's going to be a ton of media covering the NFT space during that event. That's a really good way for you to go get coverage, is during that event, because there's going to be tons of press trying to get creative stories and during Art Basel. So come up with some fun statistics, come up with some fun hooks. People love news that's quirky, that's different, that's compelling, that's unusual. Try to find those hooks that you could really use. Those are all part of the comms playbook and how to get good stories. I'm trying to just bring you value, so I'm like, okay, I gotta give him the playbook.
No, you gave me the full playbook, and it was so descriptive. It's so cool. Thank you. I don't have any questions. That's it.
Yeah.
Sip it with Sakari.